Hello and welcome back to another episode of Coast Football Weekly. This week we have a special guest coming off the big weekend, Avoca getting their promotion, and we have the head coach of Avoca. Welcome to the pod, Ray Seers.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me here today.
No, not a problem at all. So first of all, congratulations. As for the promotion itself, what does it mean to you, the club and the players?
I haven't had really much time to think about it, but I think more so just the players have had a rough time the last few years.
Yep.
Coming back into Div 1, they set themselves some goals and to achieve them and, get re-promoted, I think, super proud of them.
Let's dissect it from the beginning. So as you've said, they've had a couple of hard years, relegated twice in 2 years. So 2024 went down. East Gosford couldn't field a team, for those who don't know, and Avoca were given a lifeline to come back in.
Yeah.
Following another bad season with Mitchie Harrison at the helm, they get relegated again. When did it sort of come about of you talking to Avoca to sort of take over as head coach?
Sort of came around with my really good mate, Reed Doherty.
Yep.
So I'd sort of just missed football and I knew I wanted to get back into football. Had chats with Reed and just said, should we look to try and do something together again?
Yeah.
He sort of didn't really have too much offers of anything going anywhere else. And so Avoca came to our attention and I said, you know what, like his son was already there playing, Bailey, and I said, you know what, they seem like a really good bunch of boys. Maybe we can go in there, just do things our way a little bit, but not change the world, because we felt like they could play some good football, but maybe they were just missing something.
Yeah.
Whether we're the answer, I think maybe yes, maybe no, but, we've sort of found a way together without making too much change. Like, we didn't want to come in and change the world. We wanted the culture to still be in that way.
Yep.
We spoke to the players and just said, if you're prepared to sign back on again, like when we had our first meeting with them, if you're prepared to sign back on, we don't need to go out there and try and make too many phone calls or text messages and bring players in that might not fit the mould or
might interrupt things.
So we really put the trust in the players. We just asked them to trust us as well. And it's worked.
Yeah. Were you familiar with the team at all? But did you get to many of their games last year, or was it fairly new to you?
So while I haven't been in football coaching for a few years, I obviously love it.
Yep.
Getting around to the grounds, going and just watching teams play. And I knew a couple of the boys that were playing there, but not really personally well, but well enough to know who they are. One of the fellas was working for me at the time, so we used to have some chats. And, so I watched them and I'd see little things and go, And then, I guess just no one had really put their hand up to coach them anyway. So we didn't really have anyone up against us much competition.
Yeah.
Met with Ant Burling, the president.
Yep.
Got in discussions and, basically after sort of 2 good chats with Ant and Sean, we just felt like it was a good opportunity for us, and it just felt like it was the right decision for us to go in and do something with Avoca.
When you were speaking to Ant in those early stages, was there expectation for you to come in and get the promotion, or what were the sort of expectations on you as a coach?
For me personally, like, I've always had a belief as a coach, that I could, have some success. So I was like, I think I can do well with this group.
Yep.
But I just knew I needed the majority of the group to stick around.
Yeah.
I was hoping everyone, but, that you can't begrudge players for maybe having an opportunity to play in an men's Premier League team. at a club that's, being successful and taking them opportunities. So as much as we were hoping for them players to stick around, the boys who, maybe weren't first graders,
Yep.
they might have been fringe first graders in the past. They got their opportunities and they've done well.
Yeah, they've taken it. Yeah, for you, I mean, there might not have been any expectations from the club, but did you feel any pressure at all trying to come in and get the team to get promoted straight away, or at that stage were you just not sure with the sort of squad you had?
Probably after we got through the pre-season. December was tricky.
Yeah.
So December was, I've got no hair, but if I did have, I would have been losing a few strands.
So when exactly were you appointed? When did you know you had the job? Was it late last year?
Yeah, it was late November.
Yeah.
Mid to late November.
Mm-hmm. And then from there, basically, you're just trying to see what players you have.
We just knew we had to do a few sessions, introduce ourselves, get a few sessions underway, hopefully get a few players in and around it, just bouncing around, having a bit of fun with their football.
Yep.
And then, the numbers weren't fantastic.
Yep.
Myself and Reed would keep it as positive as we possibly could because, we've done it before, but usually our numbers have probably been a little bit more substantial where we've been before.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't want to make a big thing of it with the players. We just said, listen, keep encouraging your mates.
To come back.
Get them back in.
Yeah.
If you're liking what you're seeing, if you're liking what we're doing, we're going to need them.
Yeah.
We need you to talk to your mates as well because we don't know them.
Yeah, that's right.
We had, as I said,
the connection,
we knew only a couple of the boys involved. Now we know them all and, they're great young men.
Do you think that's basically coming off of what was 2 hard seasons? They sort of, maybe the morale wasn't there or they weren't sort of enjoying as much. Do you think that was the reason why the numbers were low to begin with?
I'm not too sure. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, as we said earlier, a couple of tough seasons.
Yeah.
The one thing that I got out of the conversations with Josh Menzies, who at the time was the 3rd grade coach,
Yep.
and he kept, elaborating and saying, mate, they're going to get here, they're going to get here. Wait till this guy comes, And so there was confidence that we would eventually get him in. And then I think by about the last session, 2 weeks before Christmas, so we'd only done like 3 midweek sessions. In the last session, I think we got the numbers up to about 27.
Yeah.
Which ideally, you're probably looking for 47.
Yeah, that's right, for 2 grades.
But we put together a little bit of a session and put them out onto sort of 2 11v11s just to sort of let them go and do their thing. Yeah. And we saw enough with a few of them to go, okay, well, we're probably going to be able to have somewhat of a decent first grade group here right now. And if there's more to come, even better.
Something to add on to, yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously Reed has done quite a fair bit of youth football coaching. So through his sort of 16s and 18s and stuff like that, where he had a lot of success previously at Terrigal Football Club.
Yep.
So a few of them boys obviously were quite connected to Reed as well. So obviously I knew a few of them. But, we didn't beg him to come over. It wasn't a hassle. It was just like, if you come, have a look at it, see what you think. And that's where we brought in some younger boys and even all of them boys that have come in, they've fitted into the culture perfectly.
Yeah, which is a big thing.
Big thing.
Yep.
The Avoca culture, it's, they're a really good group of men.
Yeah.
And we just want to see them, improve their football a little bit and start obviously, having a few wins in there. And as we said, I think the turning point for me, knowing that we might be competitive in all the grades, came through after we got through a couple of trial games.
Yep.
And then into the pre-season cup.
Yep.
You know, and we sort of, you know, you dealt the cards you're given.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sort of to get Burke, you know, I thought we maybe got a little bit lucky to make that semi-final game or whatever it was. Based on the results, you know. But you dealt the cards you're given, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it said to the boys, listen, this is what it is.
Yep.
You got up against one of the better football clubs on the coast. Go out there and give it your best. And we had no expectations of potentially winning that game, but we just wanted to go out there, work hard.
Gauge
and I
where
felt,
you're at.
Yeah, just gauge where we're at compared to like, you know, a genuine men's Premier League team. And, you know, they put a few goals on us and we definitely improved into the second half of the game.
Yep.
But, you know, we just sort of looked and went, you know what, like we could probably go okay in this Division 1 competition now. So gave the players, I think, a bit of encouragement that them knowing, hey, you know, we've done well.
Yep.
And I think they, you know, just grew from there.
Yeah, well, in the preseason cup, the Association Cup, I think it was your first round, you were facing Toukley, another Div 1 side, and actually lost 1-0. What was the feeling around sort of after that game? Was it just, okay, guys, this is preseason, we're just using it to look at things? Because the following game, you play an NPL outfit, Gosford, and had success, won 5-0, I think it was. So
yeah. So with the Toukley game, I remember it, you know, like it only happened a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
We had the chances to win that game. And as we know, like you've got to take your chances, you know, you got to be clinical.
Yep.
It was a close enough game. Like both teams, you know, had a couple of fair opportunities, but we probably just missed them one or two that we should have netted away.
Big moments, yeah.
But, you know, to Toukley's credit, you know, they finished off a really good goal and we didn't get the goals. I think we came back the week later probably with a little bit less pressure.
Yep.
And then, to be fair on Gosford as well, they had a Australia Cup game the following day.
Yeah.
So they were undermanned.
Lighter numbers.
Yeah, so I wouldn't really say that the team that we came up against there was their starting 11 first grade team.
Yeah.
So the information to the players was, hey, new game, new scenarios, and, you know, go make your next statement. And the brand we played that night was phenomenal.
Yep.
Sometimes things turn to gold.
Yep.
That night, lots of things turned to gold.
Yeah.
The week before, no gold.
Yeah.
You know, so that's football.
Well, that's it. A week can be a long time or a very short time in football. Round 3, you played the entrance team you formerly coached to get into the semi-finals. And then, against Berkeley Vale, who went on to win it, I think he's only went down 3-1 or something. So I think as a whole, the squad would have took some confidence out of that heading into round 1 for the season. Going on to round 1, you play Kincumber, and it was a draw. What do you remember from that fixture and sort of looking back and reflecting on that?
So, it was a home game for us, and a couple of the boys had made mention that, you know, because I wasn't aware that was really their rivalry game, their derby game.
Yep.
And just felt like maybe, like we played well and we worked hard, but it just didn't, for me, it didn't seem like a derby game.
Yep.
Did for them. They worked tenaciously, and they just seemed to want it probably a little bit more than what we did. In saying that, again, you know, we definitely opened them up, created some good chances, just without the polish.
Yeah.
I think we were in front leading into half-time, and we conceded from a throw-in.
Yep.
And just schoolboy stuff.
Yep.
Lack of marking, lack of intent, lack of wanting to win that ball, and regardless of thinking, oh, hang on, like, because I remember exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember the players, and I pinpointed it and just said, this is not what I'm prepared to stand for. if you're thinking about transition into attack before you're thinking about defending the ball out, you're not going to be showing me that you're going to be a first grade footballer at this football club.
Yeah.
To their credit, all the players, we worked hard on defending set pieces, throw-ins, corners, and we worked pretty hard on our attacking set pieces as well.
Yep.
And we just got better.
Going from a 2-2 draw with Kincumber, the following week, round 2, there was a lot of talk about East Gosford coming into this competition. They had a year away. They recruited well with Ackers, Ian McAndrew, some big names going there. You go to their home ground, they're coming off a big win, and, well, you beat them 6-1. What was that feeling like after that victory?
Yeah, so it was a tricky one for me personally. Like, one of my best mates in my life, it was his 50th birthday that afternoon and evening.
Yeah.
Literally 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So I spoke to Reed and said, mate, listen, it's my mate's birthday, and he probably didn't quite feel comfortable under that sort of round 2 pressure zone coming up against East Gosford, and especially after them doing so well. So I made the decision, as much as I love my mate, I had to put my club first, and I didn't tell the players. I didn't want them to know.
Is this the first they're going to be hearing of it?
They heard about it when we had won the match.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I think it put a lot into perspective with them for them to understand what they meant to me and what the match meant to me, considering that I was literally about to jump in the shower, gear up, and drive 2 hours at 10 o'clock at night to get to a party that started at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
By the time I got there, my mate was nearly. He'd
had a
good night.
Yeah. So coming into the sort of competition, I know for me there was a lot of talk around sort of the East Gosfords and the Doyalsons. Were you happy sort of flying under the radar in the early sense of the league, or did you feel a bit disrespected being the Premier League team to come into the league?
No, I never felt disrespected, and we just didn't look at other teams, and no disrespect to the other teams. Like, one of the biggest things I talk to my players is about respect.
Yep.
Respect yourselves, respect your opponents, respect the referees, but you cannot fear it.
Yep.
And you cannot fear your own game. You cannot fear your opponents, and so we weren't really talking too much about the other teams. We probably just needed to put most of our attention into our own detail.
What you were doing, yep.
And, we were training well, and, obviously myself and, again, Reed being back together and having such a really good friendship, and then coming back into our football, I think the players could sense that. Training was nice and organised.
Yep.
It was super positive. Bit of fun as well.
Yeah.
And so we didn't really look at the other teams.
Yeah, just focusing on yourself and
Yeah.
Well, following that, I think round 3 to round 6, you just had 4 games. You won all 4. You didn't concede a single goal. Scored 20 during that thing. What do you remember from that period? Was it just everything seemed to click at the right time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that real positivity, that belief. We just got on a roll.
Yep.
And we just got our game on,
Yep.
And to be fair, we had every game like a super strong starting 11 and players on the bench that you knew were going to be able to come on and make impact. And, like no one got their hissy fits on, chuck their undies away because they weren't getting their crack or whatever. Like, my information was you only ever sit for 2 benches in a row.
Yep.
And if you don't make first grade, you'll go back straight to reserve grade and play 90 minutes.
Yep.
And then you're just going to have to keep finding your way. So the way that we've done it, I don't know how other teams do it, But we've made sure that we stuck to that. And players have, all stayed match fit, and they've never got themselves unfit, and they've never not got the opportunities to, play in any of the grades. And, reserve grade's done really, really well. Third grades are doing fantastic as well. So it was like never for the players, I said to them, you never get dropped here.
Yep.
But if you need to go play reserve grade to get your match fitness up so you're ready to go in first grade when you're required, that's what you have to do.
Yeah, because, some players, they probably look at that quite negatively if they're in first grade and then being dropped down. But, if you're called upon in first grade and you don't have that match fitness, it can play a big part, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a bad system to have, and it obviously has worked well for you.
Yeah, I think it's worked well. And as I said, the players just needed to have trust in that system, be aware of it. I think being aware was the big thing.
Yep.
If you're honest with them and you tell them this is how it's going to be, and then you don't deliver on what you're saying, then
you have some problems.
That's when the problems will arise, right?
Yep.
So, but I think, I know that we never did that to one player for more than 2 matches in a row. So they've all got, lots of matches, lots of game time. We've had not too many full-blown injuries.
Yep.
We did lose a few early in the season, but we were lucky enough we took a big squad too.
Yep.
And again, I remember one of the boys telling me, you've picked too many players. And I just said, listen, you just worry about playing.
Yeah.
And I'll just continue on doing what I think I know is best for us.
Yeah, that's right.
So to be at the back end of the year and still have, besides the boys that have travelled overseas or are away at the moment and stuff like that, 100%.
Yep.
But knowing all that happens and then knowing that you're always going to potentially get a few injuries that, players might not be able to come back from, I always wanted to go pretty heavy.
Heavier than lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guaranteed them they'd all get lots of game time, and they have.
Following round 6, there was some more close results for you guys. So got here down 2 draws with Tukley, another draw with Kincumber, and a few narrow wins. Do you think at this stage teams were sort of looking at you differently and sort of playing a different style of football?
I think teams were turning up and having grand finals against us every week.
Yeah.
And it was at first it was okay. The game up at Tukley was a Saturday night game. It was their old boys' day.
They would have been up for it.
They were right up for it. The weather had been horrendous. The field was atrocious. I was surprised that we even played.
Yeah.
Like in past scenarios, I never would have thought we would have played, but it obviously meant something that night, particularly. Tukley were really good. I thought we were quite good as well, considering the field and the way that the field was. And, Tukley, I think, is, they're sitting third at the moment.
They are, yep.
They're a good football team, and we play them this weekend, and, we're hopefully ready to go again, but we know again, like they've got everything to play for to make these finals, and we just need to, switch on and try and want to finish the season off positive if we can.
Well, in Div 1, they obviously play every team 3 times. Now, heading into round 15, this was quite a big one. So it was your third meeting with Kincumber, and the 2 previous results were a draw. They were second and very much in the running to chase you guys. You went on to beat them 3-0. Do you think at that stage promotion was very likely? How was the sort of feeling after that victory?
Feeling was great. That game we played them off the park.
Yep.
Yeah, we, and again, like no discredit to Kincumber because they've been fantastic all year, but, we put them to the sword that day. And, the players were phenomenal.
Yep.
We scored one absolute phenomenal team goal and just a quality finish. And scored some other really nice goals as well. But we just didn't want to get carried away with this, getting promoted and catching us blindsided late, like falling over the finish line. especially as you said, a few boys travelling and being a little bit light on with first graders and, bouncing guys up from reserve grade and giving them opportunities. Like it's not been easy, but we found a way.
Is it more so just trying to reiterate that, taking it game by game, nothing set in stone, so just showing up each week and earning those 3 points?
Yeah, just week at a time. Get into our training. Enjoy Tuesday night. It's always a bit lighter Tuesday. Ramp things up Thursday night. Deliver our messages, either at the start of the session or at the end, bringing them in.
Yep.
And just sort of saying, go and enjoy your next couple of days away. Don't go and think too much about your footy. But when you get in here on Sunday, make sure you're ready to go.
4 rounds to go. You were still undefeated. Was there any talks of going the season undefeated?
Not for me, there wasn't.
No,
just purely because I just know that there's no easy games in first grade. You're not guaranteed of absolutely anything. And I don't know, maybe the players might have started talking, but even a couple of weeks ago when we did unfortunately have that loss against Doyalson, at 1-0 up we were organised and we were doing well, but we weren't, obviously at 1-0 it's still a close contest. And the game just sort of changed in a flick of the moment. A couple of things just happened and things sort of just, I don't know, it's not like we didn't lose our way, but it was a bit tricky. Stuff that, probably doesn't sit too well with me, but in saying that, when they did score, Doyalson, they really did grow from that, and then they actually got their second and third goal from set pieces, and that was like 19 rounds later where we, had gone back to being boys again instead of being men. And again, truth. Get back, watch the VO for me. Watch the VO, look at the moments. Never at training do I single a player out. But the message was, I know who you were. I can see it clear as day. And why are we going back to our old ways when we've done so well for 19 rounds? They got 2 really good goals, for them personally. And, got the win 3-1. We had a couple of late chances. Their keeper made a couple of good saves. Maybe a couple of calls didn't go our way, but that's footy as well.
Yeah, well, heading into that game, you if you win, promotion is finished, right? Do you think the moment might have got too big for the players?
Yeah, maybe. It was a tricky day.
Especially with Dawson, who still had everything to play for.
They had everything to play for. We'd had a couple of things happen that week that was quite tricky. So my uncle had passed away, big Everton supporter. So I sort of, I made sure I'd handled my emotions, but we also had one of the boys in the team and he'd lost his little nephew that week. So it was a tricky moment.
A lot of emotions going on.
A lot of emotion. Obviously, having the player and the boys got around him really well. And as I said, they delivered to somewhat, but maybe, I don't put it down to that. I just put it down to the fact that, Doyalson got their goals and we didn't. Again, that's football and, Doyalson's a good football team. And as you said at the start, they were one of the ones that, people sort of said, hey, these guys should be in and around the money.
On paper they had built a really good squad, and I think you look what they're achieving now. It's probably maybe now they're just finally clicking at the right time of the season. So they're in the 4th spot now. They're in that playoff series.
I saw that. I saw that over the weekend.
East sort of dropped out. So if they can stay in there for the final round, it will be an interesting one come the end of the year. Following that Doyalson loss, was it hard to sort of regroup the players at all? Obviously, knowing you got the chance to go again next week, even though it didn't quite get there. But what was the message following that loss?
Be men. just be men.
Yeah, especially against a Doyalson side they are a physical side.
They
sort of always have been since I can remember.
Yeah, no, they're extremely physical. You know, everyone always says, oh, they're bloody huge, they're this, they're that, you know. Obviously, we don't really look at that. We just look to try and get our game on. They got the win, we didn't.
Yep.
We regrouped a week later, went back to training, obviously after watching the VO.
Yep.
And just the little moments. Well, they weren't little moments. They were big moments that cost us, and they were big moments that they got, right? So we just said, you know, listen, we just cannot go backwards here, and you're going to need to own yourself now. And
yeah, well, heading into for the promotion itself, heading into this weekend that's just passed, you played the Sunday. There was a game on the Saturday night, Kincumber, which ultimately went your way and the promotion was done. Did you just have people at the grounds keeping up with the results, or sort of once the text sort of come through and you knew, is that when it's really sunk in?
Yeah, well, I was actually I'm a big music lover.
Yeah.
So I try and clear my head and get around my music. So I was on the freeway heading up to Newcastle to go see a Silverchair tribute band.
Okay.
And I got some messages coming through, and like I had my phone down there, and I was like, well, you're on the freeway, you can't open it.
Yeah.
And I saw one come through from you.
Yep.
And it sort of said something about promoted, and I was like, just keep driving.
Yeah.
Then I got a phone call from my son.
Yep.
And he's like, I know the job's not done yet, but their two teams have had a draw tonight. So, you know, congratulations, you know. Yeah. And then, I don't know, it was like maybe a little bit of the weight off the shoulders.
Yep. That's it, yeah.
Finished my drive, got to the gig.
Enjoy your
went
night.
and had some fun.
Yeah.
Listened to some Aussie rock bands and yeah, I think the players sort of, you know, like were a lot more relaxed as well, you know, coming into Sunday, not quite so much pressure. In saying that, we knew we were still 6 points clear with 2 to go.
Yep.
We had a pretty good goal ratio difference. It would have taken a catastrophe really in our end, and some phenomenal results for Kincumber to, you know, score lots of goals.
Yeah. Was there any part of you that sort of wished that it came down to the Sunday so the boys sort of got that moment at full time to enjoy it, or once again, you're just happy that the job was done?
Well, for me personally, like I own my own business as well.
Yep.
So Sunday, like I'd already spoken to Reed, spoken to the third grade coach, phoned my captain, Will Fox, and explained the scenario with my business and said, listen, you know, like unfortunately it's a tricky day for my business here today. I'm going to do everything to get to the game.
Yep.
But I need to have the best interests for my business. I had like 4 sports parties going at the time.
Yep.
One of my senior coaches doing my role, brand new coach coming in with not much experience. So I needed to spend time, get everything done there, do my training there. And then it took me literally like till the parties nearly started for me to go, my job's done. I've got another job to go do now. So the players, when I turned up to Pat Morley, the players were into their warm-ups, or into their ball work, and I literally parked across the road and just went, there's my men. Yeah, they're in good hands. And they've taken it upon themselves. Yeah. They were ready in their own right. And then obviously for me to just get there, couple of key ingredients, some final words. And then they just went out and got the job done, you know, to the entrance credit. You know, they've improved immensely as the season's gone by. So, you know, like kudos to Maddie as well, you know, like at the start, everyone was sort of, you know, earmarking them as, you know, right down the bottom. They copped some heavy losses, you know.
Yeah.
But they've come home
together,
strong, and
yeah.
they've stuck together. They had some good results leading into us as well, you know, and we knew, you know, like it's never easy going to Pat Morley.
Yeah.
So, you know, we knew that we wanted to still go there,
Mm-hmm.
put a performance in and get a result if we were good enough, and then we could sort of enjoy the moment,
yeah.
you know. So, yeah. That was the first time I sung the team song all year.
Okay, yep.
I just needed to wait till it was the right time for me to be
right
able to
moment.
enjoy it
Yep.
with the players as well. Always for them, enjoy the moment.
Yep.
But, you know, there was a lot of discussions about me not knowing the words
Yep.
or maybe not enjoying the wins.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed them all.
Yep.
But I just knew that I had a job to do.
Yep. Keep
And it
everyone
wasn't
accountable.
finished.
Yep.
And I needed to be accountable
Mm-hmm.
coming into yesterday, and then obviously getting the win at Pat Morley.
Yep.
You know, even though it was a former club of mine that I respect highly,
Mm-hmm.
Avoca is my new home now.
Yep.
You know, and being in the away change room, and it was like, all right, I can finally enjoy it, and I can sing along with the players and, you know, just enjoy it a little bit as well.
Yeah. Well, when I came and watched you at Fagans Park against Carryong, I got chatting to some of the supporters that I know, and they sort of mentioned maybe a few broken bottles this year, water bottles. Is there any truth to that?
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be an esky.
Okay.
You know, sometimes.
Heat of the moment stuff.
Heat of the moment stuff. You know, you try to keep it all together.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, everything's always about the players.
Yep.
And I'd try to do absolutely everything possible to not, you know, ride the referees and stuff like that. But, you know, sometimes you're in that heated moments and you're just like, the questions are there, and I don't know.
Yeah, emotions can get the best of you.
So, yeah, there was an esky.
Okay. Following the win yesterday, I'm guessing Avoca Beach Bolo players showed up. Did you have a few good celebrations?
Yeah. So the boys always get down to the bowling club, mainly on our home games.
Yep.
They're a great sponsor of ours. So we always like to turn up there and turn up in numbers.
Yeah, that's very
Get
important.
our dinners. Yep. Get our dinners, sit down, talk footy, talk about anything else that's going on as well, you know, like just good chats. But last night, like there was a lot of players there, a few parents, all the committee. Our ladies team were there as well. So if they had won yesterday, they would have gone league champs as well.
Yep.
So they've got a week to go. Hopefully they can really play well this weekend and finish off their job. But them ladies were all there because, they're all quite connected, like the men and the women. I think there might be, you know, maybe a couple of boyfriend and girlfriend situations in the mix there. But they were all back there as well. Their coach Steve and
it was a good night.
Yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah, obviously a lot of credit goes to you and the players for this year. But for you personally, is there sort of any unsung heroes within the club that have helped you get to where you are?
Well, I think just the backing of the committee.
Yep.
I'd previously had chats with the former president, Justine.
Yep.
She just absolutely loves the club to pieces.
She does, yeah. She'll do anything for the Avoca Sharks.
Yeah. So she's been in and around it, back there having chats, and I like having talks with her. Obviously, Ant Burling giving me the opportunity to come and coach the first grade group and bringing myself and Reed in to the system. And, you know, just all the committee people, they've all been welcoming. So the unsung heroes, you know, always are the committee because they work tirelessly.
They're the backbone of every club, right?
Backbone of every club, you know, the amount of work that they do, and, you know, at some clubs they might get a bit of a tougher time. At Avoca, they seem to get really well supported by all the parents and all the players involved in the club. So it just seems like it's a good it's a good cultured football club, and
Yeah.
like the unsung heroes really are the committee.
Yeah, the volunteers.
But in saying that, the players, considering that, I'd only be guessing, but I'd say at least 5, 6, 7 first graders from that team last year had either gone overseas, had changed clubs, et cetera, et cetera. So players are the unsung heroes because they've stepped up. Like we did not. We had earmarked a couple of players that were potentially looking to come over.
Yep.
When they did, maybe that less of a temptation for a Div 1 team wasn't quite there for them players because they're probably used to playing at a high level.
Yep.
So it was like, oh, geez, it would have been nice to be able to keep a couple of them because we probably at that stage were like, where's our goals going to come from? Defensively, I sort of thought we might have had enough to be sound enough. But the goals came along from everyone.
Yeah.
Like there's been a whole bunch of boys that have chipped in to scoring goals. It's not just been the role of, our striker or number 9 as they get him into him. Our wingers, our wing backs have done well. Our mids have scored goals. Like, it's
team effort.
It's been a team effort.
I know the season's not done, but sort of when you reflect on the year and you look back on anything, is there something you're most proud of?
Just backs against the wall and, probably no one given us really that much of a chance.
Yep.
And to be able to do it, like it's a proud moment for me personally as a coach.
Yep.
And obviously being able to being able to do it with Rito as well, being such great mates.
Means a lot more.
Means so much.
Yep.
And then, reserve grade's got everything to play for this weekend as well. They're up against Toukley again. I think Toukley are right on the verge of finals in reserve grade as well. If we're able to get the result, we'll end up at top.
Yep.
Which would be phenomenal, but we're not getting carried away. We know they're going to be extremely tough. Like we've had really close games against Toukley in reserve grade and first grade all season.
Yeah, like I said, the season's not finished, but getting that promotion, once the season does end, the players, they go off, they get their time off. But for you as a coach, how quickly does it go into planning for next year?
I'm not sure. I haven't spoke to the club yet.
Yeah.
As far as wanting to go around in 2027.
Yep.
I think it's the right thing for me to do if the club are wanting that to happen.
Yep.
But I think we'll just get through this week.
Yep.
Get through the next couple of weeks with finals. We're doing everything possible to get third grade ready, the under 23s boys. We're doing everything possible to make sure reserve grade are, at their peak for finals football.
Yep.
Once we get through September, I'm sure, I'll catch up with the committee. We can make some inroads into what the plans might look like in 2027.
Yep.
And then we've got to look at, knowing that the group's had a tough time in the previous years.
Yep.
And knowing what we've got at our hands now, like we've got a confident group that, if we got nobody, we've got a confident group that have probably found ways to win. But we've really got to work out whether we need to potentially bring in a couple of, really good first graders that want to be part of Avoca Football Club, would fit the mould of Avoca Football Club. And, that's what we probably need to investigate the most, I think, more than anything is what we need and how we're going to get them to come to Avoca.
I think the biggest thing when anyone gets promoted, it's survival, right? I had Shay early on in this year as they got promoted at the start of this year, and as much as you don't want to say, I think at the end of the year you just want to make sure you're still in the NPL, right? I also was talking to him about sort of going from being a top team to then coming in and you against established first grade sides. Do you think, granted, you go again next year, you have to look at the way you sort of play and the style of football that you played this year compared to next year?
Quite possibly. I think me personally, I probably got to work a lot harder on my coaching as well. You know, possibly, you know, go in and get another license in and just learn a little bit more as well. Doing the refresher this year was a good thing for me.
Yep.
There was just some key things that I took out of the coaching courses.
Yep.
That meant a lot, and just having some quiet words with Peter.
Yep.
Talking in and around with other coaches, and you know, just it was good. But for me personally, I think I'd like to go in and go get another license in and just advance my knowledge and stuff a little bit more, and then I'll probably just think maybe need to watch a little bit about how some of the other teams are playing, just to sort of maybe figure out whether we do need to change things up. Have we got to go a bit more defensively, or you know, what are we going to do? Like,
I guess it depends on the sort of players you possibly
depends on the players you bring in.
Factors,
yeah, lots of factors, but I know that going up is not going to be an easy task. I know, obviously, you know, that there's some really good football teams in there, and you know, even the teams that are, you know, sitting at, you know, that 6th, 7th, 8th position, they've all been in and around it for quite a few years. They know it. They know what's needed, and that's why they're all still there, right?
Yeah.
So for us, we'll have a look at that into, you know, late 26, early 27, and earmark what we can try pick up.
Yep.
And then we'll work out like how we're going to play, if we're going to play differently or if we're going to try and play the same.
Yeah. Well, this is the second year we enter the promotion relegation playoff series. So you guys have automatically been promoted. Second, third and fourth will be joined by Gosford. It's official that Gosford will go into that playoff series now. At the moment, it's Kincumber, Toukley and Doyalson. If that remains that way heading into the final series this year, how do you see that playing out as someone who's obviously seen those three teams and you're quite familiar with Gosford, I believe? How do you think that's going to play out?
Kincumber, they're all good teams. And I haven't really seen any of Gosford this year because I haven't watched any of the MPL stuff.
Yep.
I know they've obviously, and I do obviously know Shay quite personally. I know the team. I know they picked up, you know, a couple of good players as well.
Yep.
So, you know, and because they've been in that, you know, in that harder system, I know they're going to be up for the fight. Gosford will be. And I know that they, you know, could well be good enough as well.
Yeah.
In saying that, you know, this Division 1 competition, in the days of it being an easy competition, it's not. Like, it's improved a lot.
I think this year it's probably one of the closest competitions we've seen.
Kincumber's done really well. They're extremely strong in both grades. I think they might have had a couple of late injuries into their season that might sort of throw the spanner into them maybe a little bit.
Yep.
But they're extremely brave. They work tirelessly. Toukley, they look really well rounded all over the park. They look like they got some weapons in certain areas that can cause some damage, and they're quite well organised home, experienced keeper, good midfielders. So they'll be ready to go, and then as you said, Doyalson's come home really strong. You know, they've got an experienced team. They're looking quite organised at the moment. They're looking pretty fit as well. I think when we got them early in the year, they probably weren't quite there with their fitness.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the wake-up call, got them going. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they looked in the back end of the year when we played them at Tuggerah only a month ago, 6 weeks ago. They were a lot fitter, a lot more organised, and they just seemed to be a lot more prepared.
Yeah.
And then obviously again when we played them 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So it's anyone's game in the finals. Whether I agree with that system, I don't, me personally.
You prefer the 2 up, 2 down?
I wouldn't mind seeing, I don't know, just my opinion, I wouldn't mind seeing 1 up, 1 down.
Yep.
And I wouldn't mind seeing second bottom play the team that finished second in a one-off match.
Yeah, so that's sort of the Sydney NPL setup. I believe that's what they do. Someone who plays in Newcastle, we've pretty much adopted the same sort of thing as what Newcastle have and bring in the final series in the Div 1. So
yeah, it's just my opinion. I just think, you know, finishing 3rd and 4th and having a chance to, you know, play 2 good matches or have things go your way in, you know, 2 matches and for you to be able to go up from finishing 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Is there a perfect system? Who knows? Right.
No, I don't think there's a perfect system.
Yeah.
And I just look at the way that it used to be, 2 up, 2 down. Is that a bit tricky? Why not just go 1 up, 1 down? And why not let the teams that have finished first in the competition play in the final series and be able to go and enjoy the final series as well? Because, you know, like come next Sunday, you know, I'm gonna have 12 or whatever, 13, 14 first graders that aren't eligible. I would never put them back into a reserve grade or 3rd grade team anyway because it's not my style. But I don't know. It just seems, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems weird that you win a league but you don't get to play in a grand final or you're not given the chance to play in a grand final.
Yeah.
Tricky one.
We did take to social media to let people know you're coming on. We got a few questions. I think a few from your team.
All right.
First one is, what has your captain Will Fox brought to this team this year with his leadership?
Stability.
Yep.
I met him in December, just at the club. I had a really good chat with him, and Menzies knew him all a lot better than what I did. And Menzies, I said, "Oh, what about this young fella? You know, if he finds the right mentor, he could be a really good first grade player."
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I'm that person. When Oliver Chippendale was our captain, and then Chippy's a fine footballer and a really good leader of the club as well. He went overseas for about 8 weeks during the middle part of the season. I looked at a few, but I just knew Foxy was the one. Centre back, uncompromising, really good leader, doesn't say much, but when he says it, it gets listened to. He's worked tirelessly for the whole season. He's not missed a beat on the field. He's not missed a beat at training. He's always there. He's always ready to go. And he just looked like, for me personally, the one to take over from Chippy when he left. And then when Chippy came back, I said to Foxy, "You're going to continue your role." And I just said to Chippy, "Listen, mate, like I know blah, 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 but, you know, Foxy's going to continue." And Chippy's he's a cruiser. Phenomenal footballer, not a drama, and he just got straight back into his business, and it's so nice to have him back.
I can imagine. Quality player. Do you have a funniest player within the group?
Funniest player? There's a few funny ones. Especially when we get into the like competitive little exercises at training. Probably Harry Newman and Mitch Giltenham.
Okay.
Them two seem to ride each other a long way.
Each other,
and they always want to win.
One up each other.
They always. So them boys got a really good fun personalities, you know, and they're probably the funny ones. Young Cracker's a bit of a he's got a bit of a jovial sort of personality as well.
Touching on what you said earlier, one of the boys wanted to know, do you know the words to the victory song yet? And can you give a rendition on the podcast?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. Something about give us I want to be a Sharky because Sharkies love to win. We showed them how to play the game. After all that, it all sounds
All sounds the same.
The same.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, like as I said, I waited for the right time. And yesterday I was in there and I was like, all right, I can at least sing it because my job's done.
Yeah.
So boys, yeah, I sort of still don't know all the lyrics, but I'll get there.
You'll get there. Someone wants to know, out of Avoca and Terrigal, which is the better promotion that you've been a part of?
Oh, my heart always will lie with Terrigal.
Yep.
For now, at least.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had so much junior success there. I've got some pretty heartfelt stories there too.
Yep.
You know, family there, my sister,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who I love immensely.
Yep.
My nephews, you know, playing in there and stuff.
Yep.
So, you know, Terrigal will always mean a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the junior system teams that I had there, you know, the boys that won the 2014 Champion of Champions,
Yep.
you know, never been done before with the club and stuff like that. So that was like something that you'll always hold really close to your heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know that them young men are, you know, always, you know, there's something's always going to be there about that group. You know, the team was called the Storm. We brought a bunch of boys together when they were quite young.
Mm-hmm.
We had phenomenal family times.
Yep.
It was all about fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like they wanted to work hard and they wanted to do really well.
Yep.
But it was always about what we were creating off the field.
Yep.
And the mateships that they were having on Saturday afternoons and Saturday nights, and going to people's houses and having barbecues and dinners and end of season trips away, and like it was pretty special times.
Yeah.
So Terrigal 100%, you know, spending quite a fair few years there, you know, it will always hold me a special place.
Yep.
In saying that, like when you go to a new club and you're given an opportunity, it now feels like, you know, Terrigal's in a good way anyway. You know, Richard's doing a great job there. Yep. They got a phenomenal playing group. I'm at Avoca. If we're talking about, you know, getting a group that probably wasn't maybe quite expected to get there.
Yep.
This one's pretty special as well, right? Because, you know, no one really gave us too much of a hope.
No, definitely not. Not
Except
at the
for
start
us.
of the season, yeah. There was, like I said, a lot of talk around East Gosford and Doyalson on paper, but football's not played on paper, and you definitely showed that this year.
Yeah, I just say, listen, the names are all written down on a piece of paper, and my words is that paper cost me like 1 cent. It means nothing. You have to produce it on the football field. So, yeah, paper's cheap.
You touched about your business. For those who aren't aware, you motivate sports. You're a coach outside of coaching for Avoca. What does that entail exactly?
Well, it's the greatest job on the planet in my eyes. Like, absolutely love it. You know, I took it over about 9 years ago.
Yep.
It was down in Sydney, and my best mate put me onto it. Just over a New Year's Eve conversation, I was involved in another job and I wasn't quite enjoying that job anymore. And my best mate, Jeff Blake, and he said to me, you are just a really good coach for kids.
Yep.
This is a kids' sports program. I think you'd be fantastic at it. Why don't you reach out to them and see if they're interested? Bit of small talk. I end up getting in contact with a guy. His name is Dave Hemmings at the time, David Hemmings, and his wife, Andra. They were both like sports teachers.
Yep.
Reached out, introduced myself, offered to go down and just go and do a day's work for him, free of charge. Shake his hand, still no ideas. I had ideas of myself, and I just said, listen, I'm looking to do something similar to what you guys are doing, but I want to bring it to the Central Coast.
Yep.
but I'd love to do it under the Motivate brand.
Mm-hmm.
One thing led to another, and here I am 9 years later doing it. You know, as I said, you know, we've seen some phenomenal kids, you know, come through the program, great families. It's a really good vibe.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm being able to offer lots of casual work to lots of young, you know, men and women. We run a leadership program there. So, yeah, Motivate, it's pretty cool.
People want to sort of look up what's involved, because you do school holidays, you do plenty of stuff. How can people get involved?
Most of the parents, we don't really advertise too much. Like, it's a little bit more like word of mouth stuff.
Yep.
Once kids get involved, they see what we do in our football staff. They see our little football tournaments. You know, they come to our camps.
Mm-hmm.
As I said yesterday, we had 4 birthday parties on.
Yep.
So we just run a whole bunch of different multi-sports programs for kids based around sort of that 5 to 12 years of age.
Yep.
And it's fun. It's energetic. We got great coaches that can, you know, give really good encouragement and make, you know, just help kids, you know, like just go out there and give it a go and have some fun, you know, like just trying different sports.
Yeah. And last question. Normally when a guest comes on, we get to know a bit about their backstory. We might have to get you on for another episode to go all through that. But as for the future, what would a successful 12 months for you look like from here?
Sticking on with Avoca SC.
Yep.
Getting into that men's Premier League system.
Yep.
And being competitive.
Establishing yourself.
Yep. Just trying to be competitive. And then just, you know, fingers crossed that, you know, we could get in there, have learned how to maybe just win a few games and somewhat survive to that terminology. And then I think we might be able to then build on from that.
Yep.
Easier said than done.
Yep.
You know, as far as anything else, again, you know, just enjoying my other stuff that I love, you know, swimming, going on the beach, doing my music, spending time with my family and my friends.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff, you know, that's the stuff that I'm big on.
Yeah, that's the stuff that matters at the end of the day.
That's the stuff that matters at the end of the day. And like coming into football, it's a passion of mine, and I'm just happy being back in and around it, to be completely honest.
The environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once again, congratulations. We can't wait to see where things go for the Avoca Sharks from here, and congratulations to you and the squad. And thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me.
This weekend is the final round of our Premier League competitions for 2026, with all games across both leagues going down at 2:45 this Sunday. Our men's match of the round is taking place at Edzac Oval, as the defending league champions need just 1 point from the final weekend to secure back-to-back first-place finishes in first grade. Killarney are flying high at the moment and will look to finish the year on a high and spoil Budgie Boys' party. Second place Southern make the trip up north to Wadalba Sports Complex for their must-win fixture against the Bulls. If Killarney are victorious, it will leave the door open for Southern to overtake Budgie on the final day of the year if they can make up the slight difference in goals. The 2 bottom teams of this year's competition will go head-to-head at Gavenlock Oval, as the home side Gosford would look to build some much-needed momentum against the Rimba, as they are locked in for this year's promotion relegation playoff series. Our final 2 fixtures see 3rd place Berkeley Vale and 4th place Terrigal also look to enter the final series with maximum momentum under their belts. Burka will host Umina, while the O-Lads are off to Allen Davidson Oval for a meeting with Wyoming. In the WPL, we have the top 4 sides facing off against the bottom 4 sides to finish the year. With the top 4 all locked in, we may see teams looking to rest players ahead of finals or electing to build as much momentum as possible in the final round. Match of the round sees East Gosford host Camberwell, as the race for second spot comes down to the final day. The Rams currently occupy second place thanks to superior goal difference, but failure to pick up all 3 points could see them drop to third, so they'll be looking to pick up all 3 points in front of a home crowd. Third place Kincumber finishes the year on the road against Umina. If Cam will do the Roos a favour and force East Gosford to drop points, 3 points for Kincumber will see them overtake the Rams and have 2 shots at making the grand final in 2026. League champions Killarney are 1 win away from ending another season undefeated, as they host local rivals at the entrance at Edzac Oval, while the final fixture of the weekend sees Southern welcome finals-bound Terrigal to James Brown Oval. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coast Football Weekly. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, leave a rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as always, we'll catch you next week for another episode.